In the silent hours before dawn, when most of the world slept, a different kind of operation unfolded. Not with guns, masks, or getaway cars, but through invisible lines of code drifting across global networks. This video traces the rise, execution, and aftermath of one of the biggest bank robberies in history, pulled off not by traditional criminals, but by hackers who understood that modern wealth exists not in vaults, but in data. It begins in Eastern Europe, where a loosely connected team of programmers, security analysts, and digital thieves worked quietly in online forums. They were united by a simple opportunity. Banks across multiple continents had rapidly digitized their systems, embracing automation for speed. For months, the hackers observed the group infiltrated bank networks through spear phishing emails sent to unsuspecting employees. A single mistake was all they needed, and eventually, someone clicked a file disguised as a routine document. What followed was the installation of a piece of malware so advanced that it could watch, record, and learn. It quietly mapped bank operations, monitoring how staff transferred funds, accessed accounts, and interacted with internal software. Once inside, the malware began taking screenshots, capturing keystrokes, and analyzing patterns. The hackers discovered that many banks relied on a centralized system that automated transactions. If someone could mimic the behavior of a real employee, the system would accept the order without question. And that was the brilliance of the attack. Instead of smashing through defenses, the hackers used the bank's own processes against them. When the operation began, it was almost surgical. In one bank, ATMs in distant cities suddenly began spitting out cash at precise times. Money mules waited nearby, collecting the bills before vanishing into traffic. In another bank, digital transfers moved millions into carefully constructed shell accounts. Everything was automated, timed, and executed with a precision that felt almost mechanical. The hackers weren't watching every terminal. They had built a machine that robbed banks for them. Within hours, tens of millions vanished. Some banks didn't even realize what had happened until days later. The losses were global: Russia, Japan, the United States, Switzerland, and beyond. Investigators were left with fragmented clues, anomalous logins, unusual transfer commands, and ATM withdrawals that made no sense. But the malware had erased most of its tracks, fading like a ghost in the system. International agencies scrambled to coordinate, but because the attackers operated across so many countries, jurisdiction became a maze. One nation would identify a clue, another would uncover a related attack, yet no single authority had the full picture. The hackers exploited that confusion. They knew that global banking systems were interconnected, but global law enforcement was not. Eventually, the task force tracking the operation managed to trace fragments of the malware's command and control signals to servers scattered across multiple continents. Some servers were hidden behind layers of proxies. Others operated within data centers, rented under fake identities. The architecture of the attack was a masterpiece of misdirection. Arrests were made, mostly low-level associates, money mules, programmers with peripheral roles. But the core group, the architects of the digital heist, faded into the deep web. Some investigators believed they continued their operations under new names. Others suspected they had been recruited by state actors who recognized their skill. The video closes with a reflection on what this robbery truly represented. It wasn't the theft itself, though the sums were staggering, but the warning it delivered. The modern world runs on digital trust. Money moves through systems few people understand, controlled by software that can be studied, manipulated, or deceived. The hackers didn't break into vaults. They broke into habits, assumptions, and the belief that technology is always secure. As financial institutions scrambled to patch vulnerabilities, the larger question remained: if a small group of hackers could steal hundreds of millions without stepping inside a bank, what could a larger, more coordinated force accomplish? The attack became a signal that the future of crime had already arrived, and it didn't need weapons or violence, only lines of code. This video ends where the digital trail begins, in the uncertainty between security and vulnerability. The world's biggest bank robbery wasn't carried out in the real world, but in the shadows of cyberspace, reminding us that the next great heist may already be unfolding silently behind the screens we trust every day.